Okay. Brother Sharan, do you want to start or
Yeah.
the opening remarks?
Yeah,
Maybe
go ahead, start, bro.
Sorry?
Go ahead, start.
Oh, you want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. آمين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our session, today's session, which is going to be, the topic will be barriers hindering thinking in an Islamic perspective. Okay. Most of our sessions are taken from from my textbook. They are refined and tuned and in a way that more presentable online. So today it's barriers that hinders or is taking or talking about obstacles to thinking, but from an Islamic perspective, from the Quran, mainly from the Quran. Okay, so you are screen, okay. The next one, the introduction. The Quran, we mentioned times and again, discusses and explain the importance of tafakkur, and this is also highlighted and discussed by many Muslim scholars. Also, the Quran, mentions certain factors that influence tafakkur, but in a negative way, leading to deception, falsehood, ignorance, disbelief, and misguidance. This would be the result of the negative thinking, we might say, or if being trapped, those who are trapped by one or more of these obstacles or barriers, the result would be deception, falsehood, ignorance, disbelief, or misguidance. Now, it could be also misunderstanding. Of such factors are ignorance, okay, al-jahl, turning away from the truth, intolerance, and blind following. The Quranic term is taqlid or ta'assub, the Arabic term. Lusts and desires, hawa, arrogance, takabbur, hypocrisy, nifaq, reliance on conjecture, conscious rejection or denial of the truth after being conceived. Okay, this is very important. After being conceived, it's related to establishment of evidence. So the evidence is established. Rejection of the truth, juhud, giving the lie to the message of God, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, takdhib, and then the role of Satan or shaitan in influencing human perceptions. Let's examine one by one. The first one is the most also repeated one is ignorance, al-jahl, and not being aware of the truth. And not being aware of the truth. The truth is there, but people are not aware of it. okay? Because they don't make an effort for knowing the truth, exploring the truth. So we are also responsible as Muslims, or the humans also as a whole. We are not only motivated, we are encouraged and motivated and commanded by Quran to use all our mental powers, faculties, so that to explore the truth, to explore also what is related to the truth as well. Ilm and ilm in general. Okay, and ilm is the opposite of jahl. Al-ilm, knowledge. So what is the opposite of ignorance? It's ilm. That's why seeking ilm is a must. It's an obligation and it's a must, seeking ilm. Okay. Islam emphasizes that and declares ignorance as unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Quran asserts that knowledgeable people and ignoramus cannot be equated. Okay? Quran stresses on the fact that ignorance is one of the major hindrances that inhibit positive thinking. Okay? This is the ayah, quoted ayah. Even if we are to send down angels into them, and if the dead were to speak into them, and even if we were to assemble before them face to face, all the things that can prove the truth, all the things that can prove the truth, they would still not believe unless God so will. But of this, most of them are entirely unaware. Okay, so this because of being unaware or not making an effort to seek knowledge. Okay, next one. This verse indicates that it is ignorance that makes the disbelievers deny the truth of the divine message, or any truth actually. Ignorance can also, even like in any other disciplines, not only the revealed knowledge, that's why we have also the integration of knowledge, because what applies to revealed knowledge also applied to other types of knowledge and disciplines of knowledge. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replies to the mushrikeen, polytheists, instance that he should send, they requested that Allah should send angels, not humans, to them, or raise dead people. They ask also that Allah, or God, raise people, the dead people, as a condition for believing. However, because of their deep ignorance, none of these miraculous things would convince them to accept the divine message. This is the problem. Ignorance may lead people to show mockery at the message of Allah and His Prophet ﷺ, causing a great predicament to proper and clear thinking. To proper and clear. So proper and clear thinking, this could be in any, as we mentioned, discipline. The second obstacle is turning away from the truth. Al-i'rab, turning away from the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has challenged the non-believers repeatedly in the Quran why man should not ponder over things. Okay? when they swerved from the right way, God let their hearts swerve from the truth. Here, there is a very important message. It is also highlighted by Al-Imam Al-Razi. So actually turning away from the truth, it seems that from this ayah is a punishment. You can say, you can claim also that it's a result of the act. You turn away from the message and your hearts will be turned away from the truth. Okay, it's like, it can be looked at, is it, we look at it as a punishment, or as actually a natural result or outcome of turning away. You see the truth and you turn away. You see and conceive the truth, but you turn away. You don't want to follow it. You don't want to accept it. Okay, that's why, brothers and sisters, in Islam, it's very important that Al-Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran about the love of the truth, being open to the truth, appreciating the truth. Okay, these are three issues. You know, you need to love the truth. This will motivate you to look for it. And you should also look for it, you should appreciate it. So before that, you should also, you love the truth, of being open to the truth. What does it mean? The minute I know that this is the truth, I should what? Accept it. This leads also to appreciation, appreciating the truth. All this will prevent turning away from the truth, whether it's the Quranic or it is in any other discipline. In any other discipline, turning away, we're not appreciating the truth, not being open to the truth, will lead to the heart. You see, this is the problem. The hearts will swerve from the truth. It will go away. It will not accept it. It will not appreciate it. So we have to be careful. It seems in many other ayat that part of it is actually because of the niyyah, the intention. It becomes like more of a uquba, punishment, you know, turning away, or the hearts turning away. Okay, you are not willing. There is no willingness. You are not motivated. You don't want to explore. You don't appreciate the truth. So what will happen? You will not accept it. In any, whether it's the Quran or any other truth, in any other, under any discipline, by the way. Deviation from the truth, this is the problem. Makes it impossible for the polytheists to think about the convincing signs that Allah has sent through His messengers. The verse indicates that people are turning away from the path of Allah without concrete evidence. You see, it's just not being interested in the truth. Therefore, such habit or attitude undoubtedly inhibits positive thinking. Okay? Even in research, you can take it as I said, in any other, what you call it, field of knowledge or discipline of knowledge. Okay, the third one is blind following and intolerance. Blind following and intolerance. Okay, blind following, taqleed, and intolerance, scholars call it ta'assub. It's not a Quranic term, but we are talking about the Islamic perspective. These are also looked at as predicaments for positive thinking. Okay, stagnation and decline of the Muslim Ummah contributed to the blind imitation and intolerance, which affected thinking for the progress of the Ummah. For the progress, we are calling the Ummah to, that's why we have an UIA, restoring the role of the Ummah. Remember, I want to make a connection here. Restoring the role of the Ummah. Where is the role of the Ummah, my brothers and sisters? Those of you, talabatul ilm, knowledge seekers, students, teachers, lecturers, no matter from which discipline you are coming, okay? What happened is stagnation. I discussed this also in my new book, textbook, Islam, the Spirit of Creativity, by the way, in one chapter. Sharing with you one important issue, ijtihad. Ijtihad, that is in the, actually ijtihad is in the religious discipline, okay? While we have another discipline, two disciplines, human science and applied science, that is within the other area, which is, establishing the Islamic Tawhidic civilization. Okay, also that one, we are becoming so stagnated, the Ummah. Okay, and what happens is we have less scholars, even though, alhamdulillah, we have scholars in NASA. We have scholars who were appreciated by, what we call it, their work appreciated by Nobel Prize laureates. Okay, so we have in the Muslim world, but these are very, like out of 1 billion, now they say we are 2 billion. Out of 2 billion, you are talking about a few. You are talking about few. Okay, where are the Muslim scholars? We have scholars in all fields of knowledge. We need to activate, we need to restore the role of the Ummah in all disciplines of knowledge, whether religious science, ijtihad, doing ijtihad, or whether it is human science and applied science, where as a Khalifa, as a steward, as a vicegerent. Okay, the next one, okay, this talks about the closure of ijtihad, etc. The thing is, I would like to quote the ayah. But when they are told, follow what God has bestowed from on by, some answer, nay, we shall follow only that which we found our forefathers believing in and doing, whether it is, whether it's religious matters, whether in the religious matters, why it's no longer, by the way, it's no longer al-madhab al-hanafi, al-madhab al-shafi'i, no, it's a madrasa. My brothers and sisters, it was considered as madrasa, a school. So we have schools of thought. We have madhab. The madhab is a school. Even though those schools, for the last 100 years, we have less and less ijtihad. Why? Because of the blind following. We just read from the books of the previous scholars. Even though we have new challenges, we have new problems, we have new issues to discuss. Okay, Allah is why even their forefathers did not use their reason at all. You see the problem? So this is, and were devoid of all guidance. So this is very important. As if, yes, I hope you can see the point here that blind following and intolerance, not appreciating the truth, will lead to what? It will lead to negative thinking, to stagnation, as we mentioned earlier. It will not, you know, as you stop using your mind. Let the others think for us. Let the Mufti think for us. Let our Majlisul Fatwa think. It is good to that we have now Majlisul Fatwa. We have a Fatwa committee in many countries. That is a good sign, but we need also to improve the practices of those of the Majlis and of the collective ijtihad. We need to have, like in our universities, we need to have more studies. This is one area. If you want to ask me, you know, sometimes when I say this in front of some students, they said, "You want us like to reject?" No, it's not a matter of rejecting. It's building. It's like developing, improving. That's what we are talking about. We want more research in fiqh and usul fiqh. This will lead to improving the ijtihad. Improving. This can help our future muftis. You know, more and more studies and discussions will lead that our scholars in the universities, not to forget our scholars in universities, those who are teaching and revealed knowledge, they need to improve their knowledge, their studies, etc. Okay, I think maybe one more quotation about blind following. Here you can see as an evidence following the path without knowledge. Actually, you know, Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Fatiha, which we recite every day at least 17 times. You know, it's clearly, if you refer to tafsir, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. المغضوب عليهم اليهود, the Jews. They know, you see, what is it? This is in Surah Al-Fatiha. They know the truth, but they don't follow it. This is very, you see, it's very interlinked to this, to our discussion. We want to interlink our discussion to Surah Al-Fatiha. While الضالين غير اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. That's the Jews, those who know the truth but don't follow it, don't abide, don't comply to it. ولا الضالين. الضالون, it's the Christians, or those, Al-Quran didn't say the Yahudan, because everyone, that's what our Mufassirun said. Everyone who knows the, you know, we are making ta'awud 17 times a day. غير المغضوب عليهم. Oh Allah, don't make us. It doesn't mean only that we become like don't become like, acting like them. That's what our scholars say. You know the truth, but you don't follow. For An-Nasara or Walad-Dallin, which we seek Allah's help 17 times, not to be among them, that is to not to do an effort to know, to worship Allah without knowledge. This is what it is. Ad-Dallun. Ad-Dallun is the misguided. The misguided are the one who will just indulge in ibadah or this and that without seeking knowledge, without referring to knowledge, without research, without finding out. Okay? So the story of Surah of Sayyiduna Ibrahim with his father mentioned in Surah Al-Anbiya. Okay? When he said, what are these images to which you are devoted? هذه الأصنام التي تعبدون. They said, we found our fathers worshipping them. He said, indeed, you and your fathers have been in manifest error. This is very important. I am referring Al-Razi, Al-Imam Al-Razi has a good, maybe I will share with you the PowerPoint, has a good comment on this ayah. But since we have more to come, the fourth obstacle that hinders, barrier or obstacle that hinders tafakkur is al-hawa. The Quranic term is used, al-hawa, lusts and desires. Subhanallah. That is the emotional deception, my brothers and sisters. Okay? Opinions based on lusts and desires without concrete evidences are condemned from the Quranic, based on Quranic perspective. Okay? Opinions, views, reasoning, judgments based on lusts and desires, based on self-interest, also can be mentioned here. Whims, lusts, self-desires, self-interest, all these can mislead us. So in the Quran, times and again, we are warned against al-hawa. Allah warns us against al-hawa, or these lusts and desires. Okay? Allah says, He, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has neither gone astray, nor he has erred, nor does he speak of his own desire. Allahu Akbar. And it is only a revelation revealed. In huwa illa wahyun yuha. So being guided in religious matters is based on revelation. Haymanatul wahi. The superiority, the most superior evidence is al-wahi. We have reasoning for sure also, which is important, but we have, when it comes to revealed knowledge, it should be based on, when it comes to religious matters, it should be based on revealed knowledge, revealed revelation. Now, okay, another ayah, has thou ever considered the kind of man who makes his own desires his deity? Allahu Akbar. This is in Surah Al-Jathiyah. So to the extent, like, you know, a person will become like in favor of his self-interest, that it becomes like his deity. you know, his God. Man ittakhada ilahahu hawahu. So his hawa, his desire, his lusts dictates him, influence him to the extent that, you know, whatever he thinks or she thinks, whatever they consider, whatever their view, their opinion, it's based on this lust. It's based on these whims and self-interest. Okay. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the attitude of the non-believers. This is very important. Who considered as God their own desires. As in the subsequent verse, they wrongly assumed that they would have a better life in the hereafter, just as they had it while on the planet. They claim this is only an assumption. Allah is telling them, okay, that this is a wrong assumption. Okay, I want to share with you, it's there, a very nice quotation by Ibn Ashur. He's a contemporary Mufassir scholar from Tunisia. He said, thus, read their reasoning. That's the most important message, my brothers and sisters. Those disbelievers, their reasoning faculty becomes incapable to reason correctly. You see, this is the problem. Because of what? Because of the lusts and desires, because of the prejudice, because of the self-interest. Even though the proofs are convincing enough. Brothers and sisters, so nice put. In research, this applies. Whether it's field research, whether it is quantitative or qualitative research. You know, self-interest, lusts and desires can deceive us, can deceive our mind, and can deceive our hearts. And we become, as Ibn Ashur, he is the greatest when it comes to reasoning, by the way. To the extent, I would like to share with you, Tansari Professor Muhammad Kamal Hassan, when he said, Tafsir al-Razi and Tafsir ibn Ashur, that, you know, that these are the tafsir which is based on argument and reasoning, by the way. So Ibn Ashur is the best in this area, one of the best. He says that our whims and lusts might prevent us from seeing the right picture. You know, we cannot take it. Even though there is an evidence for what we see, but we are being because of the preconception, maybe due to the preconception, maybe due to the prejudice, you know, you skip the truth, you skip the right opinion, yeah, you skip the right argument. You have two arguments, you know, you just follow the argument that is you favoring arguments. Yes. The next one, my brothers and sisters, is arrogance, takabbur. The Quranic term is takabbur. And here, my brothers and sisters, I would like to remind all of us at the importance of humbleness, being humble in research, in looking for the truth, in exploring the truth. and accepting the truth. Being humble is very important. The opposite of being humble is arrogance. Arrogance is another obstacle and a predicament to thinking in Islamic perspective. There are many Quranic verses that explain the danger in arrogance, which affects proper thinking, not just positive thinking, but also proper thinking. For instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, okay, from my messages shall I cause to turn away all those who without any right, you see the problem, who without any right behave, okay, haughtily on earth. Okay, they behave with arrogance. For though they may see every sign of the truth, they do not believe in it. And though they may see the path of rectitude, they do not choose to follow. Allahu Akbar. Again, brothers and sisters, I'm sharing with you. Is this like, you want to take it as a punishment? سأصرف عن آياتي. Or is it like it's a divine law? You are talking about cause and effect. We are talking about cause and effect. It's because of the arrogance, you will not be able to reach the truth, to reach the right opinion, to reach the right view. Okay, whether it is the truth here is the religious truth, or whether it is any truth and research or any other way possible. Okay. This is just an explanation. Maybe you can have a look at it. I will send it to Brother Shahran today, inshallah, the file, the PowerPoint. So you may refer to it later. Okay, number 7, reliance on adhan, conjectures, is called adhan. And adhan, as we explained in one session, maybe session number 1, when we discussed Quranic terminology, adhan has 2 opposite meanings in the Quran. Okay, one is condemned. So adhan, which is doubt, reliance on doubt. You may be skeptical in research, right? We might be. But can we rely on skepticism for making a decision, for evaluation, for making an argument? Can we, the Quran tells us that kind of conjectures, which means doubt, raib, and it's called also shak, the Quranic terms. We discussed this also in thinking styles. Shak and raib. That's the opposite of objective thinking, if you still remember, my brothers and sisters. By the way, there are many synonyms to the negative conjectures. So we have conjectures, adhannu rajih. Adhannu rajih, that is the most likely. The most likely belief is, or definitely. Or also, yadhunnuna, like annahum mulaqu rabbihim. In this ayah, the conjecture here means adhan, it means they are surely and definitely believe. So it's not the negative. That one, so this one is positive. But You know, in fiqh, I want to share with you, in fiqh, we can rely on, in sunnah and fiqh, we can rely on the most likely. We can call it the most likely. The most likely evidence is most likely that such and such, making it. But once you say most likely, you are so accurate. You are not saying definitely. You are saying most likely. Most likely something is halal, or most likely something is haram. You may find this in fiqh, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in his revelations, the most likely, even in problem solving by the Westerns, by the way, in problem solving, they may depend on what is most likely. What is the most likely appear as a fact, okay, or as an idea, or the most likely. They call it most likely. This is the authentication in terms of authentication, authenticity, in terms of degree of certainty. So here we are talking about degree of certainty. If it's most likely, that's a different issue. But here, what is condemned and becomes as an obstacle, relying on conjectures, which is doubt, okay? The other synonyms is suppositions, speculation, imagination, assumption. Okay, wait a minute, brothers and sisters, those who are like, even in whether you are in undergraduate level, postgraduate level, whether you are a lecturer, you can start in research. In research, you can start with assumptions, no problem. You can start with speculation, but you never make a decision based on speculation, unless it is most likely, unless it is firmly checked fact. So please, here, I needed to share with you the, what we call it, the difference between al-dhann, al-rajih, and the doubt, okay, al-raib, al-shak. So hopefully, I leave it this one. We have quotation from Mufassirun, we have verses, okay? So it can be asserted that conjecture is a barrier to thinking, okay? The next one, the next barrier is conscious rejection or denial of the truth after being convinced about it. This is called in the Arabic term or Quranic term, it's called juhud. Juhud, the denial of the truth after being convinced about it. You are convinced about it, but you deny it. This is the problem, my brothers and sisters. You conceive it as the truth, but you choose not to follow it. That's why in the Quranic perspective, okay, if you see something as the truth, you need to follow it. The next step is you need to follow it. It's a must, okay? This is the beauty of the Islamic perspective. That's why in the dua, Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ahu wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabahu. Here, my brothers and sisters, in this dua, what we call it, you may see the truth as a falsehood, so you will deny it. You may say the falsehood as the truth. So you will follow it. But this, in this dua, you are seeking the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Oh Allah, enable me to see the truth as being the truth and help me to follow it. Means that you may see the truth as the truth, but you don't follow it because of the arrogance, because of the deception, because of the self-interest, many other, these obstacles are interlinked, my brothers and sisters. So this will lead to juhud. And in the dua, oh Allah, enable me to see or to conceive the falsehood as being a falsehood and help me to avoid it. Okay? Because, you know, we have the shaitan, we have this, we have that, we have many obstacles that may deceive us or make us see the falsehood as the truth, or seeing the truth as a falsehood. So this is the main point of this slide or this obstacle. There I quoted some Quranic ayat. You may refer to that in the slides. These are many. Okay. The next one is, which the next one, the Westerns, they will not talk about it. Those who talk about, like, you know, remember I told you about the great importance of the book of James Adams. The book of James Adams is, you know, if you still remember, Conceptual Blockbusting. I hope you had a chance. It's available on the internet as a PDF file. He discusses about the obstacles to thinking, okay? But you see, the Western perspective wouldn't mention about the role of shaitan, the role of Satan in influencing human perception. The Quran tells us that Satan has access to our perception. That's one thing, and we discussed this before. And Allah told us to take Satan as an enemy. And the Satan influence comes through insinuation, comes through waswasa. That's why we seek Allah. You see, this is also not mentioned in the Western perspective. Seeking Allah's help, seeking Allah support, seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tawfiq and barakah in seeking knowledge, in seeking the truth, in looking for the truth, in exploring the truth. Because Satan might deceive us through the waswasa, through the, you know, access to our perception. Okay? Like I mentioned maybe before that وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَهُمْ. The shaitan comes and maybe influence you even in your research or in your talk, in your argument, to say something which will deceive others, which will make others maybe misconceive your message. This is not allowed, my brothers and sisters, in Islam. It's because of the Satan. In another ayah, I said, Allahu والشيطان يأمركم الشيطان يعدكم الفقر in the ayah. Satan promises you poverty, like this is for sadaqah. So, you know, Satan can influence our behavior through our perceptions, misconceptions. This is the main message of this barrier. Is beautifully discussed in the Quran. Okay, this is some discussions, further discussions. You may refer to it later on. Also quotation from scholars. Okay, this is number 10. I believe this is the last one. Is envy and jealousy. Envy and jealousy. Another barrier to thinking that is mentioned in many testimonies in the Quran in this regard. For instance, the envy and jealous of Satan to Adam, which made him not to bow for him when he was commanded. But the main thing here is the Yahud. Similarly, the Jews were envy and jealous of the last Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his followers, because they were expecting the Nabi to be from amongst them. Okay, Allah states in the Quran, quite a number of the people of the book wish they could turn you, means the Muslims, back to infidelity after you have believed. بعد, بعد الإيمان. This is after we have accepted Islam, out of selfishness and envy. So that is what actually the Yahud, the Jewish, are trying to do through their, some of them, maybe not all of them, but some of those who are trying to become opponents to Islam. They do this in purpose. They try to what? Take us away from the proper path. So that's one thing. But the other thing is, Allah is telling us, there is a message here which I will maybe finish, at least allow 5 minutes for discussions. There is one message I would like to share with you. Why Allah tells us also about the Yahud or the Jewish, that envy and jealousy may deceive us from the truth. So in other ayat, Allah tells us, don't be like them, Ahlul Kitab, the Jews. Don't be like them. How? Because out of envy and out of jealousy, you may be deceived from the truth. You may be taken away from the path of the truth. You may see the truth, but because it's said by someone I hate, because it's said by another, even by, like the Quran tells us, accept the truth even if it comes from your enemy. You see the openness, the open-mindedness, the fair-mindedness in the Islamic perspective. Take the truth from whoever say it, whether it is a Muslim or even like in Sahih al-Bukhari, even if it is said by shaitan. There is an instance that when Abu Huraira 3 times catches someone who's trying to steal from the kurma, from the dates in the masjid. And every time, please, the shaitan says, please let me go. Please I will not do it again. So the next day, he tried again. The 3rd day, he tried again. So in the 3rd day, Abu Huraira but he was in a form of a man. So he catches him. He said, this time I will not let you away. So the shaitan tells Abu Huraira, if you let me go this time, I will teach you something that if you recite before you sleep, you know, Satan, which is him, Satan will not come near to you. Will not come near to you. He said, what is that? He said, Ayatul Kursi, Allahu Akbar. If you recite Ayatul Kursi, Satan will go away. The next day, Abu Hurairah told the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet said, Sadaqaka wa huwa kadoob. He told you the truth. So you see, the Prophet validated the argument of Shaitan. In Sahih al-Bukhari, he said, Sadaqaka wa huwa kadoob. What does it mean, my brothers and sisters? Even an opponent, even an enemy might say something which is true, and we should abide. We should follow the truth, even if it is said by someone we hate. Even so, to that extent, don't let envy and jealousy take you away from seeing the truth or following, not just seeing, because you see it, you conceive it, but you conceive it, but because of envy and jealousy, you decide not to follow. So even the truth, if it comes from your enemy or from Shaitan. Okay, brothers and sisters, I hope that is why in the conclusion, Ulul Albab is referred to as men of understanding in 16 places in the Quran, as there is no barrier for thinking and reflection about the sign of Allah. جعلنا الله وإياكم من أولي الألباب. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعلنا وإياكم من أولي الألباب. اللهم آمين. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brother Shahran, we may take 5-10 minutes. I don't mind. We can take up to 10 minutes, 2-3 questions, inshallah.
Thank you.
Wassalamu alaikum.
Salam. Can you on your video, Prof?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
You hear? Okay, now see you.
I thought it's on already, but I don't know what happened. Maybe it's a misclick.
Enjoy the PowerPoint. Okay, we think number 6 is missing, bro, from the PowerPoint. Or you miss it, skip it. Maybe
missed the, you mean the, oh, there is 1 point. Yes, 1 point is missed in the PowerPoint.
Is it there or just not there?
Oh, it's, I believe it's not there. You mean number 6 is what? Now, I noticed when I was reviewing the slides, I noticed that there is 1 missing, yes.
But is it, just jump to Azan. Takabur is number 5, then Azan number 7.
Yes, yes. So I'll try to look for it again.
No, it's okay. If you're missing is okay. We have
there is a question. There is a question, I believe.
Yeah. We have Sister Shukriya. I'll unmute Sister Shukriya.
There are 2 questions, if you allow me. Okay, there are 2 questions.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Professor, first of all, thank you very much. Your lesson was so enlightening that it penetrates down to the soul directly. Actually, my question is regarding my confusion a little. You said, you talked about this Surah Fatiha, and you discussed Ghairil Maghdubi Alayhim. According to my, you can say, Naqis ilm, what I have studied about it is that Ghairil Maghdubi Alayhim are all those upon whom Allah shows His anger, His wrath, and but you mentioned that it is mentioned only for Jews. Do you think that
by the way, it's not only.
Okay.
Yes, I said that the Quran, you are right, sister. I said that the Quran didn't mention their name, even though it's referring to them, by the way. If you look at the Mufassirin, but this is the Quranic way, style. And scholars say there is a hikmah, because it might apply even to the Muslims. So anyone who knows that's what I was referring to you to, sister. Anyone who knows the truth but refuse to follow it is maghdubu alayhim. Allah will be angry at them. And anyone who worship Allah without knowledge is min ad-dallin. He's amongst the misguided. Whether it can be even a Muslim, or he claims that he is a Muslim, but get into this act. So it's what is condemned is the act itself. Yes. So this is the beauty of the Quran.
But Professor, you're not mentioning about Nasranis because they know the truth. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam is prophet of Allah, but they call it son.
But according to the scholars, even though this is true, you see that they don't base their knowledge on don't base their worship, their ubudiyah, their ibadat, they just you can see it in their exercises or spiritual exercises until today. It's not even mentioned in the Bible, or in they just follow, or they do the exercises of ibadah without knowledge, without ilm. So that's the most important thing. But our worship, our ubudiyya lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be based on knowledge. This is the main message there.
Okay, we have few on the chat. Brother Mushmood. What about the following, Prof? Worry, complaining, environment, cynicism, and it is about a barrier to critical thinking.
Yes. Complaining. Well, to consider it, you may consider many things. You see, the environment, I can share with you only a few things. Maybe the one I am sure. When you say worry, you are talking about what? Emotional barriers, by the way. It refers to emotion. Any emotional barrier can influence our thinking, by the way. Okay? That's why the opposite of worry is sakina, calmness in Islam. The importance of calmness. Okay? Complaining, I don't know what you mean by complaining. That one I don't know. But for environment, it's environment. Those who wrote on thinking, they said it's the peers, it's the culture. You are talking about the culture, the environment, the classroom, your culture, your this, your that. So it's already there, the blind following. So the main thing for the environment is fanaticism and blind following. Okay, so already for the other poverty is not clear to me, whether it is, I am not here to decide whether it is, it depends on your perspective, brother, okay, or sister. Then we have the last question, maybe we address. According to some psychologists, curiosity is taken as sixth sense, even like it is given so much importance. So how to practice relying on the only info giving to us, referred to point 7, reliance on conjecture. Relying on conjecture. We said that we cannot rely on conjectures or done, right? But to rely on it as basis for our decision or our argument, okay? But curiosity, I did mention that skepticism asking questions. We did mention last week, our session last week, in infusing thinking, and before that, I think intuitive thinking. And intuitive thinking, I did mention that curiosity is actually one of the, when you seek knowledge, you need to be curious and skeptical, maybe ask questions. We said in the Quran, there are 1,200 questions. So there are hypothetical thinking. You know, you start in the Quran, it sometimes starts with hypotheses. Some of these hypotheses are wrong, leading to the what? To the truth, leading to, so curiosity is there. You are right. So it is there in the Quranic perspective, in the Islamic perspective. Curiosity, asking questions, being inquisitive. That's what you mean, maybe. So it's there. Okay, but this is to open up the pathways, to open up the channels. Okay, it leads us, so this leads us later on, this leads us to facts, to the truth. Once we are certain about the truth, then that's it. We should follow it, we should appreciate it. Okay, so I hope this is also clear.
Okay, Prof. Thank you.
There is one private question. Okay, respectful Prof, I am a PhD scholar and practicing psychologist. I request humbly for you your email. Oh, okay. So my email, maybe, do you want me to write it down for all?
Okay,
okay, maybe
easy. badi@iium.edu.my.
Okay, badi@iium.edu.my. Okay, so that's my email. And welcome. Please, you may communicate with me. Alhamdulillah. I would be more than happy to maybe to have further discussions with all of you or any one of you, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof.
Okay.
We will take a break for next 2 weeks. We'll see you again in the 9th of August.
Inshallah.
And inshallah, we will discuss with probably our next session will be more practical. Maybe we have to bring a mushaf with us when listening to the lecture. We can check ayah by ayah. Inshallah, we'll discuss about that. Final word for today, Prof?
Final word is just to share with you from all these sessions that we have, alhamdulillah, what we call it, where I shared my views, humble views on the Quranic perspectives on thinking and creativity, the Islamic perspective, not just the Quranic, also the Islamic perspective. We can see that our religion is the religion of tafakkur. Islam is the religion of creativity, and is the religion of pondering, reflecting, contemplating. Not only that, we also, you can see in today's session that Islam help us to avoid the the obstacles, the barriers that might hinder our thinking. So brothers and sisters, we need to, alhamdulillah, to be proud again and again, to say we have to be proud of our Islam and Quran. That's one thing. And we need to do further research. I'm calling upon all of you, that's my message to all of you, to do further research. This can open my sharing my ideas with you, just to open up for further discussions, for further, maybe, inshallah, studies. Okay, so don't take my words as the final. Maybe this can help you to do further research, inshallah ta'ala, in this field of Islamic perspective about thinking and creativity. Barakallahu fikum, jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu warahmatullah. It is both enlightening for our heart, also a burden for us, Prof. By knowing all of this skill, now we have to go to the Quran and read it again and really pondering all these aspects of being creative, inshallah. So thank you so much, Prof. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards you.
Ameen. Ameen. Same, same also to all the participants for their, mashallah, what you call it, participation. Barakallahu fikum.
Thank you so much, Prof. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.